When most people think of fusion, they think of one thing: Gogeta. But it turns out that in One Punch Man, fusion actually is a thing. In fact, it's happened 3 times in the series, and they all happened relatively close with each other in the Ultra Hype Monster Association arc, in which all of the S-rank heroes gathered together to take on the Monster Cadre, in one of the most spectacular and beautiful art sequences from Murata, not only from this arc, but I think the entire series in general. The Orochi and Psycho's fusion was not only beautiful, mesmerizing, and cool, but the scale of her power was terrifying. After losing the battle to Tatsumaki, Psychos went underground and found that Orochi was still alive and he had been leeching on and fusing, absorbing other monsters and life forms in order to regrow his body and form after losing to Saitama. So when Psychos attempted to fuse with him, she realized, oh crap, he's way stronger than I thought. And as they were fusing together, they looked up at something that looked like brain cells. It felt like God, and some mysterious power began to flow through me. That's when she unleashes one of the most ridiculous attacks we've ever seen in the One Punch Man universe. Murata went all in on the art, giving us double page after double page to show us the strength and scale and depth of this attack, as it literally sliced off an entire plate of the planet, and Murata continuously zooms out, showing more and more of that scale. He really wanted to depict the power of God, and we did get a taste of that later on in this arc as Saitama fought God Garo. Psychos went on to explain that since Orochi can regenerate and fuse with beings, it felt like he could fuse with the entire Earth. Now, because of this fusion, Orochi has the ability to incorporate other powers with his assimilation ability. So this lets Psychos Orochi do certain crazy things like turn into a fighter jet. As she started losing the battle, because all of the other S-rank heroes were helping out, we actually got these very cool action sequences here of all of these S-rank heroes chiming in and throwing in their attacks. We even had Bang and Bomb join in, and Bomb isn't an S-rank hero, but everyone was contributing their best attacks against Psychos Orochi, who was flying away in this fighter jet and being chased down by both Genos and Drive Knight. Yeah, it was definitely extremely strange to see a fighter jet battle in the One Punch Man manga, but we definitely did get it. And of course, this is because of the fusion. The other one is coming up. Genos valiantly jumps onto the Psychos Orochi fighter jet. As they fly up into the sky, Psychos Orochi tries to, it looks like, shoot out these beams from monster cells she has protruded out of her fighter jet, but Drive Knight comes in to tank the damage and save Genos as they combine their attacks together, blasting the hell out of the Psychos Orochi fighter jet plane, man, that's a mouthful, and doing tons of damage to her. So as they're falling down, Drive Knight tells Genos, I have a request for cooperation. I have very little energy remaining. I intend to combine through coalescing our energy cores to maximize our power output. It's a gamble whether it will work or not. Are you game? And Genos says, let's do it. To which Drive Knight says Roger, and he starts to assimilate all these pieces of his gear. We know that Drive Knight can basically manipulate metal. He can fuse and unfuse into these different forms and different weapons, basically has free control over essentially nanotechnology. And that's where, for the very first time, we see the Genos and Drive Knight fusion. Man, this was completely out of left field. Nobody expected this at all. And within just a few chapters, basically, we got 2 fusions in One Punch Man. Not to mention, they're battling each other. And this is called Tactical Combination Promoted Rook. And you just gotta admit how badass this is. The giant sword, the giant mech suit Genos, man, is this awesome. Now, we didn't get to see too much out of the form because Atomic Samurai came in with Atomic Beeline Slash and took the W by slicing Psycho Orochi in half. And that's when Tatsumaki did her signature Spear of the Heavens move, where she started to rip out the entire Monster Association from the underground. Keep in mind, it went down miles, lift it up into the air, and then twist and spiral it like with her crushing ability, to which she shot it down into the earth, detonating pretty much a nuclear bomb on Orochi and ultimately killing him. And somehow Psychos survived from that, because she shows up later on in the series. We saw in the next arc, Fubuki actually has some ties to Psychos, etc. So I don't know if Genos and Drive Knight will ever fuse again. It's definitely a possibility since it didn't happen in the webcomic, and we know that right now in the webcomic, Genos and Drive Knight are going to fight the Mad Cyborg. So it's very possible that because we didn't see it in the webcomic, we only saw it in the manga, maybe they fuse it again in the webcomic. We'll actually get to see more of his abilities. So let's go on to the third and final fusion, and it's the least of the three. It's Black S. Now, Black S is made up of trillions of little cells. He's basically impossible to kill because if you slice him in half, he just turns into two, and you can slicing him and he can almost go down indefinitely, as we saw in the battle between Black S and Atomic Samurai. We saw Black S's abilities being able to merge all of these cells together to create giant fists and other destructive power, but it wasn't until he fused. His first fighting form is Golden S. Now, we knew about this from the webcomic, and this Golden S was even resistant to Vomited for Her Ugly's acid spit, which was literally melting people on the battlefield. And he was also able to land a huge punch, so he has tremendous power and seemingly an invulnerability to acid and probably some other things. But not resistant to everything, as Atomic Samurai was able to use the Sun Sword and slice off his arm. However, to Golden S, this is nothing. He can just fuse more cells, and he does. So he fuses all of his cells except for one, basically, or 100, into Platinum S. All 53,999,999,999,900 cells of Black S. Now, Platinum S was ridiculously strong, and there was some incredible battles with Platinum S. His power was seemingly on par with Garo and Flashy Flash for a little bit, but Garo ultimately just kept getting stronger and pulled through, taking them both out. So there you have it, guys. Fusion does exist in One Punch Man, although I don't think that Saitama will ever fuse with anyone, like we saw from Anime War episode 13, where Saitama fused with Omni Gogeta to become Omni Gogitama. We possibly may get a Drive Knight and Genos fusion again. That's if Drive Knight is not actually the Mad Cyborg that a lot of us think he is. Hey guys, if you like this video, you can check out some more here and here. And we have an original series, Demon Rush, with unbelievable levels of art. It has 8 chapters with a 9th on the way, and an incredibly fun trading card game. Starter decks and products are still available at shop.demonrush.com.
Oh, damn! Very nice. Oh.